Yo, everyone. My name is Brady from Be All In Sports. We are coming back again with some main card picks for UFC Fight Night 246, Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Main event, Marino versus Albazi. Co-main event, Blanchfield versus Namajunas. It's going to be a action-packed fight night. We're going to get into this main card. If you were with me for the preliminary fight predictions, I appreciate you coming back and stopping in. Hope those fight picks hit on the preliminary card. Later on, I'm going to be doing another breakdown where we give you our bets. I'm going to give you some of my best bets for this upcoming card. It'll be mixed in with that preliminary card and the main card. But let's get started on these picks for this main card. The first fight we're going to take a look at over here is going to be Mike Malott versus Trevin Giles. Mallett's a pretty good all-around fighter. He's got decent stand-up. He's very good on the ground, very skilled there. His last fight, let's talk about that last fight for just a second. He did lose a match to Neil Magny. But let's be honest, when I'm looking at this fight, to me, Neil Magny is way above what I see Trevin Giles as. So I'm gonna say that Mike Malott, even though the competition hasn't been stellar that he's fought in the UFC, I still feel like he does have the advantage here anywhere the fight would go. Stand-up wise, it'll be a little bit more competitive, but I feel that Malott is going to have the advantage being able to possibly get it to the ground, so I think that's going to be an advantage for him. And let's be honest, Trevin Giles, he has been beaten already by Malott in a grappling match, Fury Pro Grappling, from about 2 years ago. So it's safe to say I don't think Malott has gotten worse. He is a submission specialist, and I think that his stand-up is going to be good enough to withstand Giles's pressure that he may put forward. But Giles has been knocked out, and as I said, Malott is a submission specialist. So let's be honest, Giles has been submitted more than a kid eating jawbreakers on Halloween. This guy has been choked out at least 3 times in his career. So I'm going to side with the man that I believe has the advantages here everywhere the fight's going to go. Stand-up wise, I think he's okay. And I think submissions are going to be there for him as well. So I am going to take Malott by a second-round sub in this one. This is one of probably my most confident picks of the night. On to the next fight. In this fight, we're going to have Marc-Andre Barriault taking on Dustin Stoltzfus. To be honest with you, I'm not highly impressed with Stoltzfus. He's looked decent at times. He's 2-5 in his last 5. Barriault hasn't faced the highest level of competition, although I do feel like his competition levels have been higher than what Stoltzfus has faced. Stoltzfus coming in as the slight underdog in this one, moderate favorite for Barriault. I feel like the higher volume striker is going to be Barriault. I feel like with Stoltzfus, his main path to victory is going to be to get it to the ground. I feel like if he starts to try and get it to the ground, he's going to end up expelling too much energy, as Barriault does have a 67% takedown defense. And when he does get there, he's usually able to get back up. People aren't having a lot of control time on the ground. So I think the later rounds are going to come into play here. I think that Barriault is going to be able to put it on him later in the rounds with the striking. So ultimately, I'm going to side with Marc-Andre Barriault. I think this is going to be a long fight. I think it's going to go to decision, but I'm going to side with him to get a unanimous decision, especially when he is fighting in his hometown. And I'm just not highly impressed. I have not been highly impressed with Stoltzfus, so I'm going to go Barriault by decision on this one. All right, on this next fight, we have Caio Machado taking on Brenson Ribeiro. Oh my God, first of all, look at this shit. Caio Machado, who has been primarily a heavyweight throughout his career so far, even in the UFC. 6 months ago, this guy fought, and he came in, his weight was 251. He just weighed in this morning at 205. I hate the weight cut. I hate when you're cutting 45 pounds, 46 pounds in a 6-month period. To me, he looked decent on the scale, he looked good, but to me, I think it's going to be a problem when he's facing a power puncher like Ribeiro. I think he's going to come in. Who knows what this guy's going to look like at a light heavyweight? At a heavyweight, he wasn't producing a lot of power. He wasn't getting people to the ground. He wasn't trying to get people to the ground. Ribeiro does have the ability to get it to the ground. I don't know what that kind of a weight cut is going to necessarily do to him. I don't know how you did a 46-pound weight cut in the 6-month period. I don't know if it was good for you. He kind of, I don't know, he looked decent, but he also looked kind of sucked out to me. So I'm interested to see how my prediction is gonna go with this. But I think that weight cut is gonna weigh into this. And I think with the power punching of Ribeiro, I think it could be a bad combination. So neither one of them are seasoned fighters here. Neither one of them has been, to me, very impressive in the UFC. I think Ribeiro has been the more impressive out of the two just based on the power. Machado does have the volume, but I think the damage is going to be on Ribeiro's side. So I am going to side with the underdog in this one. I'm going to go Brinson Ribeiro due to this huge weight cut. I don't know how your gas tank is going to be. I don't know how you're going to be able to withstand a punch. So I'm going to say that Ribeiro is going to be able to get this done. It's not a surefire pick as he is the slight underdog right now, but the odds have gotten closer as far as that goes. So I'm going to side with Ribeiro in this one. I think he does get in. I'm going to say a knockout. I'm actually going to go early in this one. I say it happens under 1.5 on this. But as far as the betting side, we'll get into the bets that I'm going to come up with later. Don't have those put in yet, but I'm not sure where I'm going to go just yet on this one, but I will side with Ribeiro knockout. We will move on to the next fight. Okay, with this one, this is either going to be a banger or it's going to be a snoozer. I'm not really sure. You have Derek the Black Beast Lewis taking on Jonathan Deniz. Jonathan Deniz is pretty new to the UFC. He's been pretty impressive. He has won his last, he's been in 3 fights now, 2 fights including that Contender Series. He's looked good in all of them. He finished the Contender Series fight, finished Austin Lane with a left hook KO, and he then won by decision against Carl Williams. I think that was probably the most impressive just because you're avoiding the takedowns and you're also at a high level of striking. In this particular matchup, everybody knows what Derek the Beast Lewis does. He is a power puncher, not high volume, but he will come out of nowhere with it. Those big looping overhands that he can throw can land at any moment. But in this case, as much as I like Lewis and I love seeing him win, I love that celebration that he does. I think that this is going to be a matchup where the volume is going to play into it. And what I was noticing also is Lewis, I don't think he likes getting his legs chewed up. And I feel like in this one, Deniz is going to take out his legs in a major way. I think he's going to kick him and kick his knees until he just can't stand it. And I think it's going to open up many opportunities as far as the ability that he's going to take away as far as movement from Lewis. So I do think Deniz is going to get this done. I can actually see this fight going long, but I think Deniz is going to outlast him. And I think those leg kicks, when you get to a certain point, if Lewis isn't seeing the fight go his way, I'm not sure he's going to, continue through fighting through these type of leg kicks. May find a way out, but overall, love Derek Lewis, but I got to side with Jonathan Deniz. I think the youth is going to be on his side. I think he's a little bit hungrier in this one as well. And I think the volume is going to be there. As long as he doesn't get knocked out, I think he wins this one. I don't think he's going to pounce Derek Lewis unless it gets to the later rounds. And then, like I said, Lewis just kind of looks for a way out. But all in all, I think Deniz is going to get this done. I haven't really decided on a method. Like I said, it weighs on a lot of things. This may be one of those live betting opportunities. If you see the volumes there, maybe take a shot on Deniz if it kind of switches just a little bit. And Derek Lewis looks like he's taking over round 1, possibly gets to round 2, because I think Deniz can still take over in round 2. He's shown the toughness. And Lewis, let's be honest, getting a little bit older, some of that power starts to drop as the later rounds go on nowadays. So I think that if he's not going to knock him out in the first round, I think this is going to go a little bit longer. And I think Deniz is eventually going to break him down with the leg kicks. So I am going Jonathan Deniz in this fight. We'll get on to the co-main event. We have Rose Namajunas taking on Erin Blanchfield in the co-main event. This is a good matchup. I'm not necessarily a huge fan of either of these fighters. Rose Namajunas, I've never been a fan of her. Honestly, she is great. She's a former champ, good stand-up, good on the ground, very slick, keeping it on the feet, very good at distance control. Erin Blanchfield hasn't impressed me with her takedowns, even though she has beaten some decently high-level competition as far as wrestling goes. When she did face a higher level striker in Manon Fiorot, she had problems. Rose Namajunas, I felt like kept it a little bit closer in a fight with Fiorot. So in this matchup, I think this one's going to go long. No secret there. Both of these are decision type fighters. I don't think you're going to be submitting Rose, and I don't think that Blanchfield is going to be knocking her out. And on the opposite side, Blanchfield has proven that she can take a beating. So I think Rose is going to put it on her for the 5 rounds. I think it's going long. Blanchfield, I look to get at least 1 or 2 takedowns in this, but ultimately I think Rose is going to be able to work her way back up. And ultimately, as it gets into the later rounds, I think the volume is going to be there for Rose, and I think she's going to prove to be the stronger fighter in this one. So Rose Namajunas by decision, no real big surprise there. But that will bring us to our main event. Brandon Moreno taking on Amir Albazi, the assassin baby taking on the Prince. This is going to be a good fight, I think. Both of these fighters are really well-rounded, really skilled. Brandon Moreno has obviously faced the higher level of competition. Albazi's starting to get into that higher echelon, but I cannot help think that the 17-1 record is a little bit bloated in my eyes. Some of the competition that he fought early in his career that's added to that record, not so high level competition. Moreno, on the other hand, has been fighting high level competition in the UFC. We know about all of his battles that he's had in the UFC. He's a great fighter, all around well-rounded. Albazi, I'm not sure he actually won the fight against Kai Kara France. It was a split decision, and I could see that going either way. Brandon Moreno, on the other hand, I feel it has faced the higher level competition. I feel like he's done better in those matches, and I'm not sure that he's actually not gotten robbed on some of his previous fights here. He's just lost 2 split decisions, as you can see. Royval and Pantoja, who that's high level competition. You're talking about champion and champion level. So I think the Moreno is going to be the stronger fighter in this one. I think it's going to be a volume type matchup. I don't think Albazi is going to be able to get him on the ground or keep him on the ground. I think Moreno is actually more skilled in the takedown department. So all in all, I'm going Brandon Assassin Baby Moreno in this one in the main event. As I said, we will cover more of the betting side of all these when I come back. I'll put in a follow-up video, but I hope that this has done some good as far as the betting side, what you might be looking at for those upcoming fights that are coming up for you this weekend. Hope we all hit big. Like I said, I will be back with a betting breakdown, what I'm going to put the bets in on, where we're going. Going to try something a little bit different with this. If you did not get those previous preliminary picks from the previous video, let me just go through the whole entire card for you really quick. In that matchup between Jack Shore and Yusuf Zalal, I'm taking Zalal. In the matchup, Jamie Lynn Horth and Ivana Petrovic, I saw Petrovic on the scales today. She's very beautiful. I'm still going Horth. Chad Anheliger versus Cody Gibson. I'm going Gibson. Sirhi Sidhi. I don't think he looked that great on the scale. Something looked a little bit off. I'm going to go I think Garrett Armfield also looked a little rough in the weigh-ins this morning, but I'm going to go Armfield in the experience level there. Alexander Romanov, Rodrigo Nascimento. I went Nascimento in this one. Charles Jourdain and Victor Henry. I'm going Charles Jourdain. I love that pick. Confident in him. Jasmine Jasdavicius over Ariana Lipsky. I'm going Iman Zahabi over Pedro Munoz. And to reiterate that main card, Mike Mallet over Trevin Giles. Marc-Andre Barrio over Dustin Soltfus. Brenson Ribeiro over Caio Machado. Janata Denise over Derek Lewis, Rose Namajunas over Erin Blanchfield, and in the main event, Brandon Moreno over Amir Albazi. That is my betting breakdown for the whole entire card. Hope you enjoyed. Hit the like and subscribe. Give me your comments. Let me know what you're thinking on these fights. Hopefully we make some money. Come back and see the betting breakdown for all of the UFC Vancouver events this weekend. Until then, my name is Brady. Be All In Sports. We be ballin'.